Welcome to the Flourishing Founders podcast, where I interview inspiring Canadian entrepreneurs about the highs and lows of taking the leap of faith and starting their own business. My name is Ashley Deering. I'm the owner of Deering Media, a Fredericton, New Brunswick-based digital marketing agency. Let's jump into the episode. There. Good morning. It is a beautiful Sunday. It's been chilly here over the last couple days and the sun's already out. I'm gonna take Colby, my dog, for a really nice walk after this, so that's the start of my day. But before I get to that, today's live is featuring Emily Chase of Emily Shopping Soulmate. She is an incredible human being and a very multifaceted human being. She has done everything from fashion design to being a stylist, a fashion stylist. She's a content creator. She's an influencer. She's a digital artist. She is so many things and more. She's worked with me as an assistant and has helped me shot content for clients. She helped me learn TikTok. She's an incredible person. So she's coming on today to talk about her journey. I really want to grill her about how she got to the point that she's at now. She's had many evolutions and changes throughout the year. So she's a really cool person that we're going to have on. So that's what's happening. And then to provide some value to you guys, she's also going to be giving some tips and tricks about how to style yourself for work and how to show up, feeling your best in your clothing. So I'm really excited to have Emily on. She should be here any second. She told me she was setting up her tripod. I don't know if I can invite people directly now on here. There's supposed to be a preview feature that I do not have yet. Oh yeah, look, I can. Oh, maybe I lied. Oh no, I can. Okay, she's coming. Hello, beautiful.
Hi, hello.
Move this back so my big head fits in the frame.
I know, there we go.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So Emily forgot about the time change this morning.
I didn't forget. My phone forgot. My phone did not.
Went into a panic thinking our live started an hour ago. But I'm glad you're awake and ready to go.
I'm up. I'm going. And I was just getting out of the shower, and then I saw you posted 30-minute warning, and I was like, 30 minutes? That's 10 a.m.
So it's gonna be a day that throws us all off for a while, but
I think so, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming. I just did a little introduction for you. So for those who are joining now, Emily is an incredible, multifaceted, creative entrepreneur. She has done everything from fashion design to being a fashion stylist to being an influencer to working in PR to creating content. This girl is somebody that I really admire because she's somebody like me. She gets really interested by something, she grabs onto it and wants to learn and just run with it. And I love that so much about you.
Or I just can't make up my mind.
Yeah, same. Which means we'll never get bored.
It's true. So, that's true.
I have Emily on today because I want to grill her about her entrepreneurial journey, how she started to where she got to today, and I also want to provide you guys with some tips and tricks about how you can show up feeling confident in your style and wardrobe. So thank you, Emily, for coming on. I appreciate you being my guest.
Of course.
I'm going to grill you a little bit this morning. Are you ready for
it? All right, bring it on.
The first one's kind of easy.
Okay.
So you're someone who has lived through many different chapters of your life, and I want to go back to the starting point of your career, which was your time at the New Brunswick Craft College. You went there for fashion.
Right.
And I'm very curious about what sparked your interest in fashion and what prompted you to go to the Craft College.
You know what's funny? This is the second live I've done this week, and this is the second time this question's come up. And the last time I was
well-versed.
The last time I was asked, well, I kind of had to think, and I was like, I think when I was 10. It's been a lifelong obsession. And, if you look on my Instagram bio, it says artist first. I was an artist my entire life. I love drawing since I was a small child. And it was kind of a natural progression for drawing little doodles, and then I did go through a comic book phase there for a long time. I really did think I was going to work for Disney one day, and I was getting
I love that.
to be animating. And I'm putting that out there. Look, if that ever that would be a childhood dream. That would be incredible.
Come on, universe.
And, you know, I credit my mom too. Like, my sense of style, like, I have a very classical sense of style, and I give that all to my mom. She taught me at a very, very young age how to pick pieces that aren't just pretty and for one moment, like how to really build a wardrobe and how to go for more classy pieces. She introduced me to like the Shirley Temple movies, Lucille Ball, Audrey Hepburn at a very, very young age. I was like one of very few like 6-year-olds who could quote like Lucille Ball's movies and like all of this. She gave me a very classical education on style. And then of course I started, you get older, I became a teenager and got fully invested in shopping and styling and all that. And so my art kind of naturally progressed with me. And I have so many sketchbooks of so many designs that because when I was young as a teenager, I was just pumping them out. Like they just kept coming out. And I would fill a sketchbook like every few months. I would have them just chock full. And then, you know, I grew up in the middle like of nowhere, like shout out Carlton North High School, if anybody ever knows where that is. And so it was kind of a interesting spot to be, where it's a very rural area, like it's a lot of farming, like it's McCain's and all of that. And to be an artistic person, it was interesting. So when college came around, I kind of just had this sense of like, if I don't go after it, then I'm never going to. So I originally wanted to go to Mount A, but they're more in tune to like the fine arts, like painting and all of that, which I love to do. Like I did this. But
Yes.
love to paint. But when I found out New Brunswick College of Craft Design had a fashion program, I was like, well, it's meant to be. And I looked into going to Ontario, but I was absolutely scared. I swear on you, I was like scared shitless. I was not brave yet. I wasn't brave enough yet to leave my province. And so New Brunswick College was kind of a perfect spot for me to kind of dip my toes in and get the sense of like the artist world, so I didn't have to completely like up and leave the province right away.
Yeah, it's amazing that we have a program like that right here in New Brunswick, and you don't have to go to Toronto or Vancouver or wherever it may be to get that kind of education, especially that you can specialize in the type of craft. Like I know they have a general year, but then you get to go into what you want to specialize in, which is amazing. Yeah. What was your final collection?
Yeah.
What was your final collection like?
My final collection was, I went through a Mad Men phase. 60s, 50s. I was obsessed. I was introduced to that film like right before my senior year, and all of the, because that's the style I was raised on, like the pencil skirts and dresses and everything so perfectly put together, and I was obsessed. So my final collection was very much inspired by Mad Men and the 50s style, the 60s, and so a lot of and it was always the stuff I loved. I was such a girl, like I loved to design all the pretty things, all the pretty dresses, like, so it was a lot of like special occasion dresses and just anything satiny, silky, pretty. That was my final collection.
I love it. It's so up my alley. So that was your start, but then you ended up moving to Ottawa, Ontario from Fredericton, New Brunswick. And that was a huge adjustment. Ooh.
Yeah, actually, I moved to St. John and was there for 7 years and left to go to Ottawa. And I'm upset because I left right before St. John had its local artist explosion. I literally left a year before it happened, and I was like, I just missed it by a year. But yes, and then I did go to Ottawa, Ontario for 2 years. Yeah.
So then you ended up in Ottawa. So tell me more about how you ended up there and what that did for your career.
So I ended up moving there with my daughter and my partner because they had some training left to finish, and so they were placed there, so we had no option. We had to go. And it was my very first time spending an extended amount of time in Ontario. I had like done like the Toronto trip when I was a teenager. And so this was my very first time, so I was nervous, obviously. And I was a new mom as well. My daughter, at the time we moved, she had just turned 2. And after the first year there, she's an incredible kid. She became extremely independent. And I had been home with her for this entire time. And I started noticing, I was like, the balance is shifting a little bit. Like, she doesn't need me as much anymore. And every time I say that, people jump on me. I don't mean like,
no, she just started to become independent.
She turned 3 and she suddenly has a mind of her own, and she's very independent, and like her mama. And I, the whole stay-at-home mom thing, I applaud women who can do that full time. It's not for me. It's not for me. And I was going through kind of a bit of a crisis where I was like, this can't be it. I was like, this can't just be, I can't just be her mom and that's it. Like, yeah. It wasn't enough for me, and I was really struggling, and being so far away from home. Because before, if I was having a hard time, I could just hop in the car and go see my family or my partner's family. And
that's it. You kind of lost your connection to yourself in a sense.
I did a little bit, yeah. Which, I mean, happens to everybody when we move, right? It's all new.
Oh my
gosh. You completely start over. And I do remember, luckily, I did have a few friends in Ottawa. I had an amazing friend I had from college. She had moved out there. I hadn't really seen her in 5 years. And she's an incredible human being. I wish she was on here so I could call her out, but she's not. And we literally just picked right back up. And I remember she was newly single and she wanted to go out. She was like, let me take you out. And I remember making the conscious decision. I was like, when people ask me, like, what do you do? Like, if we meet new people, which her and I always do, and they ask me, what do you do? I was like, I'm going to say I'm an artist. I was like, no one knows me here. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. Little did I know what I was putting out into the universe, but yes, owned it for the first time in probably 6 or 7 years that night. And just, I loved it. And so then the PR opportunity came up. I was looking for something to kind of dip my toes back into going back to work. And there was this incredible charity in Ottawa, Art for Mental Health. And if one of the people on the team pops on, I'll shout them out. But they had put an ad saying they were looking for volunteers. And I thought, that's perfect, because I had done work with Children's Wish while I lived in St. John. I did multiple stuff with Children's Wish. And so I was like, I'm great at volunteer. Show up, get a shirt, go stand over there. I was like, this is perfect. And they were having a massive event on Parliament Hill called, just lost it. I think it was something called Paint on Parliament Hill, where you can come get a canvas, get your paint, get your brushes, and then you can go sit on the hill and just create. And it was this idea of giving people an open, safe space to create and to open up the discussion of the connection between art and mental health, which was just ticking all of my boxes at that point. And so I applied, and I do this a lot. I will just seize an opportunity and I'll be like, oh, I won't get it. Why not? And I'll just go for it. And then I'll get stuff and I'm like, oh, I was kidding. I was like, oh, now it's real. And so they contacted me and they wanted an interview, which I was like, wow, they really vet their volunteers. That's awesome. And I went and I met the director, who is still one of my favorite people in the whole world. And we had a nice chat, and then I left. And then about a month later, I got an email saying, we'd love for you to join us. We're having a meeting this coming week. Can you make it? And I was like, okay, great. And I'm thinking I'm going to go. There's going to be like 100 people there. And they'll be like, okay, so right? What you would think. Long story short, I show up. There's a meeting of 6 people, including me. I am now on the board of that charity.
Only you.
Sitting through the entire meeting, looking around, and I'm like, I shouldn't be here.
I love that. Oh my god. But you just
actually told them like months after. Like months after, I was like, oh guys, by the way, I had no idea I was joining the board.
But they were lucky to have you. You told me a story about how you fought for some PR coverage for them and were hounding down the stations. And why don't you touch on that a little bit for us? I love that about you.
I wish the director was on here because I'm going to use my nickname he gave me, and I just adore it. I am known in that circle as Miss Annoyingly Persistent because when I want something to get done, it's going to get done. And I think it's partially because I have anxiety. I don't like to focus on stuff for too long. I don't like to have it in my brain for too long. So I'm like, no, we're just going to get it done. And then I can't twist it up in my head. So
I get that.
Yeah. And so, well, I had worked for a radio station here in Fredericton in college, just to add to the list of the random jobs I've had. And I did advertising for them. And so once the charity team found that out, they were like, so you know how radio stations work? I was like, yeah, I guess. You know, I worked for them for like a year. And he's like, do you think you could reach out to some radio stations for us? And I'm, okay. So literally, it was nothing special. I literally just Googled like top radio stations in the city. Got some guidelines from, because I wasn't from there. I didn't know any of them. And funny enough, talk about manifesting, our meeting room was across the street in the Byward Market. It was across the street in Ottawa from the Bell TV main offices. And I remember we're discussing what everyone's going to be doing. And I remember I looked out the window and I thought, that's my white whale. I'm going to get them. And didn't say it out loud, just in my head. I was like, I'm going to get them. And then I got them. I literally Googled the phone number for the front desk. And I had my little script written because I would get nervous. And I was like, I don't want to forget anything. So I literally would have it in front of me. Once they picked up, I'd do a quick glance at it. I'm like, okay. And then I would just say, hi. Now I would say naturally, I wouldn't read it, but, and said, this is what I'm trying to do. And you know what? I was completely awesome. I'm like, I'm not quite sure who I need to speak to.
Yeah.
And, because you have to be careful with that because they'll send you right to advertising because they want to sell to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we're not looking for advertising, but we're just looking to get something promoted. And, they sent me to the top tier, I think he was the producer, like the top producer. Like they sent me to his direct line, and I got on the phone with him. And because I sent them an email and no one had answered, so I called them and I said, "Oh, you didn't get the email? Oh, okay, here, I'll resend it. Did you get it? Oh, fantastic."
Annoyingly persistent.
Annoyingly persistent, yes.
I love it though. You know, even something like that. Like you were like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna try. Why not?
Yeah.
The worst thing somebody can say to you is no, and you'll never know unless you take that risk.
Absolutely. And I will say because I did 2 events with them, my time there. I did the Parliament event in the summer, and then I did a gallery event for them in the following November.
Cool.
And I will say, I talked to so many radio DJs. I talked to so many producers, like email back and forth on the phone. I don't even have a number of how many I talked to, but I do have the number of how many were rude to me. One of them, just one out of maybe a dozen or 2 dozen of them that I dealt with, maybe one. And he was just, basically, he just called me every word other than sweetheart. So.
Oh, God.
So,
but you didn't let it discourage you, and you kept going, and it was only 1 out of 12. So, that's really a testament to just trying, right?
Yeah, I remember he was being very condescending, and he was like the last guy. He was acting like he's the first guy I called. I'm like, dude, we've already had multiple coverage. Like, you're the last on my list.
You're at the bottom of my roster, sir.
Yeah, exactly. You're way low on the roster, honey. I hate to tell you. And he's like, well, if you have a press release, I guess I'll have a look at it. And I go, of course we do. And I called the director immediately. I'm like, do we have a press release? And again, literally Googled how to write a press release and had it written and sent to him. I was like, I am not losing face with this person. Like, this person is so rude. I was like, I'm going to send him a press release.
Good for you. So throughout all those experiences, chasing down the big dogs like Belle and stuff like that, like what was the biggest lesson that you learned throughout your experience in PR or even just working for that organization?
I would say that not getting an answer right away is not necessarily a no. Because that's
so
the biggest lesson
hard.
I learned. That's the biggest lesson I learned. Because when you're promoting an event, you have to let them know in plenty of time. You have to let them know, like, once the event is set and you've got your venue and everything's done, you let them start letting the press know, and then following up with them a few weeks before. So it feels very like hurry up and wait, and then hurry up again, because you'll send it all out and then you have to trust, or if you're like me, call, make sure they got it. And then you follow up with them like when you're down to the wire. And so it gets very stressful. But what you'll find is that all the answers started coming like the week before, like 2 weeks before, a week before. Because if you promote it too early, everyone's going to forget about it.
That's so true.
Yeah, so that's my big, and I've been carrying that now into when I pitch brands or clients here in the city. If I don't get my answer right away, that's not necessarily a no. And even if you get a no, that's not a nail in the coffin. Your foot is in the door. They are aware of you now. And
that's it. It's a not now, not a never.
Right. It's a not now, not a never. Exactly. Yep. I'd say that was the biggest lesson for sure.
Oh, I love that. Patience is a virtue. Definitely something I'm still trying to master.
Yeah.
Okay, so with your newfound experience, the pandemic hits and you and your family decide to move back home to Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Yes.
Talk to me about that decision. I know we all went through the pandemic and all went through it in our own ways, but for you to make this big decision to come home, like that couldn't have been easy.
It wasn't. The reason why we came back is my partner got offered a job in Fredericton, and as much fun as I was having in Ottawa with the pandemic, it was too much. It was too far away. I'm a Maritimer, born and bred. Like, I'm happiest when I'm in the Maritimes.
Yeah.
But it was still a really hard decision for myself because I had found this newfound confidence and independence. I had started working with this charity and gotten the massive PR. I had started modeling. I was doing commissions, like art commissions for people very regularly, and all these amazing opportunities were happening, and it was absolutely terrifying for me to just leave it. And because I started my Instagram while I was in Ottawa as well, because my Instagram just turned 2 in October. She's still a little baby.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. But it was absolutely terrifying. I was so excited to go home and be back on familiar ground, because it's an unsettling thing to be living somewhere and not feel connected to it, not feel at home. As much fun as I was having, I was like, this doesn't, like, I would drive around. I'm like, nothing looks familiar. Nothing looks like I'm so happy I'm here. Like that feeling that we all have, that you don't realize that you had it until you don't anymore. And so it was a mixed bag. So we did come home, and I started doing what I was like, well, you know what? I'll just start reaching out to people before I get there. I was like, I'll just start doing my PR thing all over again.
Yeah, for yourself.
I'm not promoting a charity anymore. I'm promoting myself. And so I really did my homework. Like, I remember I found out about Hanson Road while I was in Ottawa, and I was like, oh, I'm going to follow them. And you yourself, I found I think your old page, or maybe it was when you restarted, I'm not sure. I was like, oh, okay, because I was like, I don't know, is the influencer thing even a thing in Fredericton? Because I left before social media was even a big deal. So I was like, are there even any? I was like, there must be, because Ottawa is way oversaturated. Everyone's an influencer in Ottawa. And more power to them, because it's a hard gig. So I kind of got here, and it took a while. I was like, okay, I'm just going to I kind of just had to have faith in what I was creating and in what I had done so far. I was like, I'm just going to keep going, and I think eventually it's going to pick up. Like, I just kind of had to just have the faith that it was going to be okay, because it was very, very hard to leave where I'd had my foot in the door for so long.
Well, that was
I was
it. You
looking
finally
for.
feel like you had established yourself and then had to
Yeah.
basically start that over again. But you've already done it once. So coming
Yes,
in
and
with
that's
this
true.
time, you were able to have a little bit of faith because you had that newfound confidence.
Yes, for sure,
So,
for sure.
you originally caught my eye with your digital illustrations.
Yes.
I think it's absolutely genius that you are using your talent to connect with local brands. And I'm wondering, how did that originally start for you?
Well, the digital illustration started when I was in Ottawa during the pandemic, because before that I was doing a lot of watercolor and ink commissions because that was my favorite medium. I love watercolor and ink, and still offering those, by the way. But then the pandemic happened, and of course, like everybody, the orders stopped coming in because nobody wanted to come and pick something up, or I didn't want to go to a strange house and drop something off. Like, if we dare to think back to the beginning, like how much fear there was, and where I was like, I can't leave the house. Like, what if I make eye contact with somebody? Like, I can't leave the house. And so I had this, I don't have it with me. I have a gigantic iPad. Like, it's gigantic. And I had gotten it as a gift 2 years prior to being in Ottawa, because I always said I always loved the idea of having like the screen and having the little pencil and being able to draw and it go directly to digital. Because I didn't understand, like, they tried to teach me at the craft college, like Photoshop, like all that. Don't understand it. Can't do it. Giving up on it. But I didn't like drawing on it. I had a little Apple Pencil. I have a gigantic iPad. I didn't like creating on it, though, because I didn't have the same friction that paper and pencil had. And I didn't find that desirable. And so I was out getting cocktails with a girlfriend, like February 2020. So right before the whole world exploded.
Like literally weeks before.
Weeks before. And she was like, and she was an artist as well. And she's like, well, how's it going on your iPad? And I was like, I hate it. I was like, I don't like it at all. I was like, it's so slippery. My work looks like my daughter did it. Like, I don't like it. And she's like, you know, you can get screen covers that mimic paper, right? And I was like, no. So I ordered them from Amazon, and it was a game changer. All of a sudden, I'm drawing on it like I could draw in a sketchbook. There's more control. There's more grip. Love these things. I think I still have the link of it. If anybody wants, like, they're incredible. And so I was just at home during the pandemic, and I was messing around, and I started drawing, and I was like, you know what? These would be so much easier to sell because they're digital. So once they're done, I just change to a JPEG or a PNG, and I can literally airdrop them to you. I can text them to you. I can email them to you. I can send them in a DM, which I did a few of them. And and so I put it on my page, and I was like, put it out there. They didn't really take off. And so when I was like, but that's okay. It was like more time for me to just mess around with it and practice with it and enjoy it. And so then I came here, and I spent some time in Fredericton and got to know the local businesses. And I just fell in love with Rhiannon from Hanson Road. And one night I just kind of had, any of fellow creatives on here, I just kind of had that spark of like inspiration. And I'm like, oh, I need to sit down and do this. Like, I need to sit down and create this. And I did the Hanson Road illustration of Rhiannon holding the flowers, and just did nothing but just posted it. And I was like, oh, there it is, which is what I do a lot. I'm just like, oh, there it is.
That's so cool that it was never even like an intentional, like, I'm gonna get all these businesses' attention. Oh my god.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You're just secretly a genius.
Maybe. I'll take that. Okay.
Because that's really what like started taking things off for you locally, I found.
Yeah, Rhiannon shared it. And what I did, I sent it to her first. And I was like, hey, I did this. I really want to post it, but it is like your likeness. So is it okay?
Yeah.
My partner was like, you should probably ask permission before you. And I was like, I don't think I need to, but okay. And I did.
Like, I drew you. Is this weird?
Yeah. And so I posted it, and she shared it. And the response I got from it was insane. It was insane. And at that point, I was looking for something new on my page because I was getting bored. And that's a dangerous thing for me to be. It's not good for me to be bored. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, maybe we'll keep this going. And the ulterior motive of it was I had a ton of friends in Ottawa that were supposed to come visit me that summer in Fredericton, but we couldn't because of the pandemic. So I was like, you know what? I'll just start pumping out these local spotlights. So when they come visit, they can have a list of places that they want to see.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that.
And here we are.
Have you ever thought of putting together like a little book or something of them all eventually? Like it could be like a tourism book, but it's all your, this is my brain going.
Oh no. Ooh.
Like
Not
business
until this
opportunities.
moment, but Ashley, we might need to make that happen.
We'll talk later, girl. We'll talk later. Okay,
You guys are all witnesses to this when the book comes out next year.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Mention you were on the live and we'll give you a discount.
Oh, we'll figure it out. Okay, so she doesn't only do that stuff. You're also an influencer. So you've had the opportunity to work with local brands like Loop Lifestyle, Jewels by Angie, Freedom Bridal, and even a client of mine, Beauty Prodigy. So I am wondering, oh, and you also recently snagged your biggest one yet, which is Dynamite Clothing, which you have told me since the moment I met you that you wanted and manifested. Let's talk about that for a second. How did you get Dynamite? Congratulations.
Well, you know what? Again, we'll swing back to college. I worked at Dynamite. That was my very first retail job. I left my job at the radio station and went and worked at Dynamite because I was like, I love clothes. I want to go work with clothes. And at that time, that's basically all you could do in New Brunswick was. And I remember sitting in, no shade to New Brunswick College of Craft and Design. I'm not a great student. I would sit in the class and I'd be checking my phone or watch, and I'd be like, I get to go to work in 2 hours. I get to go to work in 1 hour. I get to go to work. I loved it there, and I lucked out because the team we had, I'm still really good friends with the girls I worked with there like 10 years ago. Like we had a really perfect team, and I learned later after I worked another 6 years or so of retail, that is not a given. It's not a given. And so I say that Dynamite taught me how to dress. Because I had a fashion design, I was getting a degree in fashion design, and I was learning how to construct a piece and how to actually put it together and go from illustration to pattern to actual physical garment. But Dynamite taught me how to style. Like, I learned so much just from working there. I think I worked there for just under 2 years, and I learned so much about how you're supposed to dress your body and how something looks good on this body type and it might not work on this body type, and like a wealth of knowledge when I left there. And it was such a supportive environment. So I continued wearing the brand once I left, and 10 years later I was still, I feel bad I'm not wearing them today, but
we won't tell them.
got the ornament on today. And I just continued to be supportive of them. And once I started doing the fashion styling stuff, again, it was kind of organic because I wasn't only wearing their stuff to get their attention. I was wearing their stuff because it's all I have in my closet. Like, it's all I wear.
You're a genuine supporter.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm just going to tag them and just be like, hey, I'm wearing this. Hey, I'm wearing this. And I would... You know, Ashley, I'm not, oh, there's Randy. There he is. He's the director of the charity.
Hi, Randy.
I'm going to call you out. So I'm not afraid of a DM. I'm really not. DMs don't scare me. And so I would just send them a message and be like, do you guys have an ambassador program? Like, I'm that chick. Like,
I love that, though. If you don't ask for it, you'll never get it, right?
You don't ask for it, you'll never get it.
Yep. Exactly.
And I kept asking them. I was annoyingly persistent. And they did not have an ambassador program. They don't have one. But then they let me know last Christmas, they were like, we are launching an affiliate program. It's coming. So once it came up, I was actually in Halifax this August when they announced it. And I was like laying in my Airbnb and I went, oh my God. And then I got scared and I didn't apply. It got too real. And I was like, no, this is going to ruin it. This is going to ruin it all. Like, I'm going to love them and then I'm going to work with them again. And it's like, it's the fear of change where it's like, it could be even better or it could be worse. And I had done an affiliate program with a different brand. I'm not going to name them. They're in Ottawa. And it was not good. It was not good. I was putting out so much content for them and they weren't sharing it. They weren't, I would DM them questions or about getting links and there was no support. And it got to a point where I'm like, well, I know when I'm not appreciated. And so I left and I swore it off. I was like, never again. I'm never doing that again. Wow. And then Dynamite came up and it was just the word affiliate that turned my stomach a bit for a few months. And I was like, I don't know. But eventually I was like, you know what though? Like, I love this brand. I know this brand. And so I did apply and I got a response within 24 hours. I didn't expect that. And I was so excited. And the only person I had to high five was my daughter has high fived me for so many things she doesn't understand. Her and the dog go running.
You, Mama.
I'll go running. Hey, high five mommy, right now. And she'll give me a little high five.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. So what does it entail?
So I have a link and if anything I'm wearing, like I can link it. And if you click on it, I do get a commission from I can't speak.
That's one of the downfalls of doing this on a Sunday morning and the time change. I'm like,
and a time change.
Holding on to this for dear life. I'm like,
and a mom brain. I know. I will post the link. I've already posted it a couple of times. It's in my bio. And if you go through that link and make a purchase, then I get a commission from it.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, congratulations. I'm so happy you were able to make that happen.
Yes, and I'm very, 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 very excited.
For anyone that's listening and is interested in the influencer scene, and like you've noted, it's not a huge scene here in Atlantic Canada. There's some people that do it really well and that are well known. Like Allie Beckwith is the first person that came to mind. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody knows who she is. She is one of the Atlantic Canadian influencers.
She's incredible.
Yeah, oh my gosh. There's a bigger scene in Halifax, but when it comes to here in New Brunswick or Fredericton even, there's not a huge scene. So there's lots of opportunity, I think, for people to get into this type of work if they wanted to and, not be oversaturated in this market. What tips and tricks, besides being annoyingly consistent, would you offer or recommend to people that want to get started in this line of work?
So I would say get rid of your preconceived notions of what an influencer is, because I will call myself out, because if I don't, I think Randy will. I used to make fun of the whole influencer thing. I thought it was ridiculous. Because I had no idea. It was out of ignorance. I had no idea the amount of work that all of this entails. And now on the other side of it, I am so defensive of my page and my work to anybody who wants to make fun of it. I'm like, come at me. I dare you. I'm like, it's so much work. I went to the Moonlight Bazaar in St. John with a girlfriend in August, I think it was. And I, the brands, they knew I was coming because I talked about that I was coming. So I was like, okay, I was like, I need to post about it and all of this. And she saw me all day long, and I'm very good. If you're with me and you don't want to be in the video, do not worry. I'm very, very good at cropping people out. I'm really good at it. It's like my hidden talent. And I was taking video and she looked at me and she's like, this looks like a lot of work. I was like, it is. Thank you for noticing. I was like, it's a lot of work. So yeah, get rid of, and the whole influencer scene is changing. Don't you agree? Where no one really wants the perfectly coiffed account anymore.
No.
I can sense inauthenticity a mile away. I know when you're being fake. And nobody, especially right now, I feel like nobody wants to hear #living my best life. And it's we're in a pandemic.
People have problems.
We are having issues.
I know.
No.
100%. It's like
So-
taking down that like mask of what you think an influencer should be like and just
Yeah.
trying to be yourself because you're influential as who you are as just a person, right?
Oh, sorry, somebody else. This is definitely a lot of work. I spend like over 10 minutes on a story.
Yes,
right?
And now we have to do reels and show up. Like, I have a new posting schedule where I have like carousels going up. We're doing these lives. I sent you the show notes for this live.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a page
Appreciate
long.
it, by the
Like,
way.
you have to do like every piece of content and be really versatile and not be afraid of change and stuff too, I think is the other aspect of it, because like Instagram within like the last month has like thrown like 30 new changes at us. We're like, here, just adapt to this, like, let's go.
And you know what will humble you? TikTok.
Yeah.
I joined TikTok in June. I thought I was all that. I've been humbled.
I've been humbled and I've been aware that I'm now old. Apparently you hit your mid-20s and you're now old. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Oh, okay. All right, mid-20s, honey. I'll stay quiet when you're 31, so.
You get it. There was
Bite
a
your
TikTok
tongue.
audio and it was like for everyone who was born in the late 90s that's
1990s.
now old. I'm like, oh my God,
For
okay.
you call it old, I call it experienced, honey.
You know, TikTok's really interesting because I wanted to resist it. I resisted it for almost a year. I was like, there's no way. I'm not going on there and dancing. It's for 16-year-olds. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have such a negative perspective.
Yeah.
TikTok's probably my favorite app right now. I have so much fun on there.
Same. And you know what? I was promoting Dynamite on Instagram for 2 years, and just recently I started getting them to like my stuff.
Yeah.
I was on TikTok for a month or 2 months, and they followed me.
It's
and I woke up and I saw it. I think I sent you the screenshot, and I was like, I don't think it's real. This is fake. This is fake. This isn't real.
And that's the really interesting thing about like this video type of content. They're trying to push it to the forefront. So one of the cool things about Instagram and all these changes is that now reels are their top thing that they're trying to sell and push out to you.
Yeah.
So you can gain that reach on here too now and reach Dynamite on all sorts of ends and pretty much
we got them
any
now. We
brand.
hooked them. But I would say too, piece of advice that I've given, like if you're, whether you're working PR or anything, is you need to be your biggest fan in what you're promoting, because if you don't care about it, why would anybody else care?
Yeah, it's like RuPaul says, if you don't love yourself, how the hell is anybody else going to love you? Like, I live my life by that.
Exactly. If you are not proud of your content, if you are not consistent with it, and if you are not putting it out, and you aren't like, this is what I love to do, and you're not standing by it, no one's going to care.
Yeah.
Because guess what? We're all wrapped up in our own shit. We're all wrapped up in our own lives. No one's going to care. Yeah. And that's actually a very freeing thought as well, because if you're feeling a little self-conscious, well, I want to put this out, but it might be a little different. Guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. No one.
We're all so busy, and
yeah.
It's such a saturated, like coming on to Instagram, I'm sure so many people are going live right this moment.
Oh yeah.
Like, to be able to stand out online, you need to be yourself. There's nobody else like you out there. You need to be authentically you. And that took me a long time to discover too. Like, I've been on Instagram for over 10 years now. I've gone through all sorts of different stages of trying to be an influencer, and now here I am with this like kind of marketing influencer strategy and stuff. And like, it's something that takes time to figure out, and it's something that comes with maturity and growth and like, right? So like, it doesn't come overnight. It's just something to be self-aware about and work on over time.
And something else I'll give that I had to just be okay with, your family might not understand what you're doing, but that's okay, because they're not your target audience.
That is so true. It took my parents a while, but now I've been sharing my stuff on LinkedIn, and my dad's liking all my stuff. He's like, is this helping you, sweetie?
My dad, I maintain, if my dad were in his 20s and 30s now, he would be online. He would be an influencer. My dad is all about it. He thinks it's so cool. And he's always like, well, because all of this self-promotion, all of this confidence I got from him. All my fashion and stuff I got from my mom. My dad, I've never seen someone work a room like he does. The two of us in a room, it's dangerous. Like, I joke all the time when I'm home. I'm like, what do you need? Dad, like, put Dad and I in a room. We'll get it done.
Oh my God.
What do you need to talk to? Put me in a room with him. Like it'll, and I think it's because I don't even know if he was aware he was doing this, but he definitely raised me to not be intimidated, to not be the shy kid. He definitely raised me, and maybe it's just the way my personality is. Like I remember I would go to like a high school hockey game with him, and my dad knew I grew up in a very small town. My dad knew everybody, and there was, I think, a premier or somebody was there, and my dad walked us right up to him, and he was chatting with him, and he taught me. I'm such a handshaker, and the pandemic's killing me. I love a good handshake, and it's killing me that I can't put my hand on anymore, because he taught me a good handshake, and I can't, like, all of these things. And I remember, like, I was 17, 18 at the time, and I wasn't this kid staying waiting for dad to, I inserted myself into this conversation, and I chatted with his aide for like a very long time and had this great conversation. And I remember leaving like, okay, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been intimidated, especially my dad raised me to not be intimidated by men. Because I've definitely had some men in my life try to be intimidating, whether it be work or promotion, or they just think that, I should be embarrassed, or I should be like, I can't think of the word, but kind of just trying to embarrass me. I've had a lot of men try to embarrass me, and I just kind of look at them like, well, that's sad for you. Kind of like,
that's so true.
Like, or they're like, I did all this, and I'm like, good for you, dude. What do you want me to say? Like, I've never been intimidated, and that has served me very, very well. And I think a lot of people too are scared to put themselves online because they hear like the horror stories. They hear about the trolls, and they hear about all these awful comments and the unwanted DMs. Those do happen. But I like to treat them with what I call the bless and block. Where I wish them well and I block them. The block feature is there for a reason. I don't know why people are so
I love
use it on a daily basis.
I use it too. And it's
daily
not
basis
even as a reflection towards the other people. It's just to protect my own peace.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would say my last real big piece of advice on this is that set healthy boundaries on what you're going to share and what you're not going to share. Because it will, regardless of if you're like me, you only have maybe under 1,300 followers, or if you have 10,000, it's going to get overwhelming, and it's going to get to, like any other job, you're going to need to be able to retreat. So, and I keep my page and my content's very niched down. And so it makes it easier for me to keep those boundaries in line, because it can be very tempting when you get like some traction online and people, you like this? Well, here's more of my life, and here's more of my life, and here's more of what I have. And then you're left with no one in your life to retreat to when you need a break. And that's, I think, a very toxic thing. So you'll never see my daughter online or on that page, and or my partner. They're notoriously private. And I made the decision to have a public presence online. They didn't. My daughter can't. She's 5.
That's what I respect about you. You're not a show mom kind of thing.
I'm not. And I mean, to each his own. It's not my thing. It's not. And look, when she's older, same thing. If she wants to pierce her ears or dye her hair, like if she's seen me do it, I can't tell her not to. But right now she's 5 years old. She cannot consent to anything. So the old men that are sending me sugar baby offers and illicit photos don't need to know what my daughter looks like.
Hell no. I agree with you, Mama. No, 100%. Good for you.
Yeah, no. So, and it's nice. So when I say I've had a bad day, a post always happens. The post you put your blood, sweat, and tears into doesn't do well. Doesn't do well. And it's such a crushing thing. And when you're with somebody who maybe doesn't understand it, they might not get that it's that, like, well, so whatever, you posted a photo, they didn't like it, but who? It's like, no, do you know how much brain power it took to plan this out and took photos?
Write the caption and do this.
Write the caption. And for me,
I get it.
For the most part, I'm taking all my own photos, all my own videos, and so I'm like, I had to set up a freaking photo shoot with a timer, like, like, oh my gosh. And so, but it is nice to just be able to put the phone down and retreat into my family. Like, I'll talk about it with my family, but they're not involved in it. They're not on it. Like,
I like that. It kind of gives you two different groups of support. So the people that get it, that are in your industry, like me, that you can talk to, and then people like your family that are outside of it, and you can just retreat to and be like, okay, I'm shutting off this part now, and I'm gonna go be Emily in the real world now.
As long as they're respectful of it. Because I do have a couple family members who are just like think that it's like the term shallow and vain I've had thrown at me since I was very, very young. And it kind of now comes back around, though, that I'm identifying as an influencer, doing the influencer thing. It's kind of come back. But now I'm a little feistier, and I'll fight you on it. I'll be like, is it? Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, I got this coverage and this and this and this and this and this. You're right. How dare I?
It's like, okay, I'm making money off doing this, and I'm being my authentic self, so... No, absolutely. So something interesting I wanted to ask you is you are a fashion stylist, you're a digital illustrator, you're a local influencer. You have so many different pillars of your business.
I'm tired.
How much sleep do you get at night? No. My question for you is, which one sparks the brightest fire within you?
Ooh. Can't take too long to think, because Instagram's gonna
I know it's hard because you love them all.
I do love them all, but you know what? Right now, I think the fashion styling, only because it's a full circle thing for me. Because as you guys heard at the beginning, I went to the craft college, didn't have the best time in that program because I can sew, I will not. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's anxiety inducing for me. It's not fun. It's just not, it's one of those things where it's like, I can do it, but I work harder at it because I just don't have the natural talent for it.
Sure.
Whereas like I could sit in the drawing classes all day long. I finally got to be that student when I was in the drawing classes who shows up, does the homework while class is starting, hands it in, still gets a full mark. Like I never got to be that student in school. Like I was always failing. And so, but yeah. And so I kind of closed the book on it and I was like, well, that's okay. You know, we tried. It was kind of weird that I was certain I was going to do it and that I couldn't do it. So when the fashion styling thing kind of came around very organically, by the way. I had an old friend approach me and asked me, she's like, I'll pay you. Will you style me? Will you help me overhaul my whole look? And I was like, okay, sure. Why not? And,
love that.
And it just has kind of snowballed from there. And it's like, oh, this was what I was supposed to do with this. This is what I was meant to do with it. And so I think that really is. And I'm helping people, and it's such an amazing feeling. Like people, you want to water it down to just help people get dressed. No, I'm helping people like find their confidence again. I'm helping people have organization in their life again.
Yeah,
like
there's a mental health aspect to what you do,
100%.
and it combines everything that you've done.
100%. And like I styled my first guy, which was crazy. I did a live with him on Wednesday. And I remember the good old imposter syndrome that whole week was sinking in. I'm like, what do I know about dressing a guy? I don't know. I was so stressed about it. I was so stressed about it. But then I remember the night before, I kind of pulled myself out of it. And I was like, what? No, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 10 years. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I was like, it's all basically the same principles. Yeah. And it went really well. And it is so amazing to hear people say, like, the stuff you picked out for me, when I put it on, I feel good. I feel like he said he felt like he looked really great. And I was like, well, that's incredible.
Oh, that's so sweet. You're in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing. I am. That's really beautiful to see.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling.
So, what can we expect to see from you in 2022? What's going on with you and your business? What's the fashion styling? How can we connect with you? Like, sell to me, baby.
Well, I definitely am going to be doing more of the fashion styling. I've got a couple people that I'm going to start working with, I think, this month. And because I offer a whole wide range of it where
That's interesting. So do you just go like shopping with them? Are you cleaning out their closets? Like, tell me, what are the services in there?
So, and again, this is all kind of like on the site learning type thing, because I didn't plan on doing this. Like when my partner found out I got a stylist client and like I wrote her a contract and she signed it, he goes, I didn't know you wanted to do that. I'm like, I didn't think I could. I didn't know I could do it either.
I love that energy, but it's like, I'm gonna try.
Well, I think we all have those goals and those dreams that are like deep, deep, deep down that we're like, I'm never going to utter it, because if somebody thinks I'm going to do it and I don't do it, I'll be heartbroken. So styling was always something way, 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 way deep down that I was like, that would be really cool. But I was like, I'm never going to utter a word about it. And so you kind of have options. I do offer packages of working with me directly for 3 months. And I will do closet consultations. I will take you shopping. We'll have like, I think it's weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings where we'll discuss, well, what are your goals? What are you looking to achieve? And we'll have private shopping and all of that, all condensed in 3 months. Now, I do cut those down as well, because I took one of my clients, he just wanted a private shopping trip before he moved away. So we just met and I quoted him, and I'll go and I'll meet you, and it's a fee by the hour. And what I'll do beforehand is we will have a meeting like this, and I will say, what are you looking for? What do you think you're missing? And who are your style influences? Because then I will go on Pinterest, I'll do research, and I'll be like, so do we like this person when they dress like this? Or do we like this person when we dress like this?
Love that.
And the nice thing about that last client, I took him shopping, he said, I really like Chris Evans and Harry Styles. And I was like, oh, my job is so hard. I was like, now I have to look at photos of Harry Styles and Chris Evans. And then I will go ahead of our booked shopping trip. I'll go like a day ahead or a couple days ahead, and I will pre-scope out places for you and find what we like. I'll take pictures and videos and send them to you so we can kind of narrow down where we're going, because if anyone has ever done the shopping trip where you're just trudging on and it gets exhausting.
It does.
So, and on the day of, we'll meet and I will take you to the agreed upon spots. We'll try on the pieces that we liked and maybe try on a few that we didn't get to see. And I will give you feedback on what fits and whether it works or doesn't. I will give you tips on how to care for your clothes, because that's something I'm hearing a lot about. People saying, I don't wear this because the neckline never holds up. And I'll go, how are you looking after it?
Yeah.
And they'll tell me, I go, no. And I'm like, if you do this, it's going to last you forever.
Cool.
And as opposed to, don't hang your knits, guys. Don't hang them. It's so bad for them. And so there's that option of just doing that. Or I will offer, you can just do a closet consultation with me where I will come in, I will pull everything out of your closet. We'll go through it piece by piece. That's an hourly rate as well. And we'll do, should we keep it? Should we not? I'm very direct and I'll be like, did you wear it in the last 6 months? Nope. Out it goes. Which I find a lot of people need.
Will cut through any bullshit. Like you would like, I can see you doing that very well.
I got no time for it. And then I will color coordinate your closet, and which takes away so much anxiety, by the way.
Mine's in a rainbow.
I love it. Mine is color coordinated, and I cannot tell you how much anxiety that takes away, because you're like, I need this blue thing. There's the blue section. Off we go.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Yeah. So it's a mixed thing. If you want to work with me, we'll kind of discuss, and if a 3-month relationship is good
for everyone kind of thing.
Yeah,
you can
because
adjust
I'm learning, like, no, not everybody needs the same things. So I'm always willing to be flexible with what you need, and we'll book services you need and ones you don't. And yeah, because we're still learning with all of this, so nothing's
100%.
really hard and fast.
So while I'm talking to you about your styling business, what tips and tricks could we provide to the people that are watching here today? So my audience is filled with young business professionals that are getting into the working force, maybe starting their businesses for the first time, maybe don't have huge budgets and stuff. Like, how can we show up and feel good and confident and professional in our wardrobe?
So the one thing I will say is, it might be scary to spend some money on your stuff initially. Please try to stay away from the fast fashion for multiple reasons. I mean, no one's perfect, but only because that stuff is made to break down. So you'll be spending that much money every month or so because your pieces are falling apart. So I would deeply say invest in some basic pieces that you can transition over to full year. That's number one. And see, it's hard to kind of water it down because everybody has their own specific comfort and sense of style and what they like and what they don't. Absolutely. But I would say the big one, wear what you're comfortable in. Don't wear what you think you should be in. Wear what you're comfortable in. Because if you're wearing something you're uncomfortable, I don't know if anybody realizes this, there are physical tells. I can look around a room like, oh, they don't like what they're wearing. Because they'll sit like this. They'll pull on it. Yeah. Like somebody, like I have a client who can't stand cowl necks. So, like, I don't mind them, obviously. But you're sitting there and you're adjusting. You're pulling.
Yeah.
Physical tell. And it makes you look uncomfortable. It makes you look like no lack of confidence. And when you are wearing something you feel good in, you know, you look good in, the shoulders are gonna roll back. You're gonna sit up a little bit straighter. You're gonna be like, that is right. I look good. Because I don't really want to see her be like, you need this in your closet, because I can't do that. Because everyone is so unique. I would say stick with stuff that makes you feel good and then work from there. You really like wearing, let's say, I guess for girls, you really like wearing the long cardigans. That's great. Try to maybe get one that has a belt or has lines, panels that will so you can shape in them. Yeah. So you're not looking like this. You don't want
no boxes like around here.
We want our little curves going. We all love them. Yeah. So I would say don't just wear something because you think you have to.
Yeah.
Just wear something you're comfortable in, and you'll be much more like well received.
Those are great tips. Comfort, and then like investing in like good pieces. Like a nice blazer I would spend money on. A nice pair of like shoes or boots or something like that.
Always spend the money on the shoes. Always, 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 always. That was the first tip my mom ever gave me was try to, because my mom's all about finding bargain. Like, we like a good sale, but she's like, spend the money on the shoes.
Yeah. Because
you'll be paying for it way later if you don't.
Oh my God, yes. That's such great advice.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And, yeah.
That's great.
I was gonna say, I learned that the hard way. I permanently messed up my left foot. So if you're ever out with me, we're out walking a lot. When my feet get tired, my left foot will go like this. Because I wore really bad shoes and got inflammation in my heel when I was a teenager.
No.
And yeah, so now my left foot will turn out if my feet get tired.
Okay, so yeah, spend money on the shoes, guys. Get money on the good shoes.
Yes, good shoes. Yeah.
Wow, that's all my questions for you on this live. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you being here. You're my first official guest because last week was putting me in the hot seat. So you are the first official guest of this live. I want to almost say podcast every time. I think I'm going to eventually like rip these off and like take the audio and go put them on somewhere and be like, yeah, here's more content.
Do it.
But yeah, so if you guys liked hearing from Emily today, she is a lovely, no bullshit type of gal. She's so up my alley. If you want somebody that you can trust and also be your best friend and give you that hard advice while you're shopping, she is so the gal to go to. And she will hype you up. She's also the ultimate hype woman. So highly I recommend her for those services. Also, Christmas is right around the corner. Are you doing Christmas commissions for your digital work?
Yes, I am. Yeah. And I would say get your orders in sooner rather than later. Once I get them, I can get them done pretty quickly because I'm still like the little artist who's so excited to even have a job. So, so I'll do them. But yes, I am offering those. I'll probably close them like the 20th of December. But of course I closed them last year and then I got 5 more. So
yeah, so get them in now. And if you're looking for Emily, you can find her on Instagram. You'll be able to find her through this live and everything. But it's emily.shoppingsoulmate. And she posts all sorts of styling videos. She'll bring you
on TikTok the same.
Oh,
except there's no dot.
Your TikTok too is so much fun.
Please, no one's there.
I'm there. My thing about TikTok is you need to just post a bunch of stuff on it, build up a whole bank, and eventually something goes viral, and then you start building up like the following that way.
That's what's happening. My views are starting to tick up, which is awesome, which I'm super proud of, but it definitely humbled me back down. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not hot shit. I'll just sit here and do work.
No, I'll take the same video and post it on Instagram Reels, and it'll get like 150 likes, and then I'll post it on TikTok, and it gets like maybe 2. I'm like, oh,
I know. It's okay though. It's keeping us humble. In TikTok, that's why it's such a good app though. I saw somebody say this once. They're like, Instagram, you can kind of buy your way in, and like TikTok, nope. You have to earn it. You have to do the work.
You have to earn it, and you have to be genuine in yourself on there because they can smell the bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, guys, next week's live guest is actually Samantha Walters of Beauty Prodigy. She is a client of mine who rebranded during the pandemic, which was insane. So we are bringing her on to talk about that experience, what it was like to own that business during the pandemic, how Beauty Prodigy came to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you, Emily, for coming on. Please join me next Sunday at 10 o'clock to see the next live. And this one will be up on, I want to say IGTV, but now it's like Instagram video or something. They switched it over. Yeah. It'll be somewhere on my profile.
And I'll put it on my stories too.
Yes, okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Emily. I really appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Have a good day, guys.
You too. Bye.